I want you to be honest with me for a minute. I want you to tell me, is there a fear in you about speaking up for Christ? Is there a fear in you about saying what you know is right? Is there a fear that the people who know you or who think they know you, is there a fear in you that those people will attack you because you're standing for what's right and you're standing for the truth? If that fear is in you, then that fear is common. I think we all have gone down that road. I've gone down that road before myself. But what you have to understand is that's the trick that Satan uses to get you to hush and shut your mouth. He wants you to be fearful, and he wants you to be afraid at what people may say about you just to get you to shut up. Listen to this powerful verse, right? Coming from 1 Peter chapter 4, beginning with verse number 1. Watch what it says. I'm going to read 1 through 4. It says, therefore, since Christ has suffered in the flesh, arm yourselves also, therefore, with the same purpose, because he who has suffered in the flesh has ceased from sin, so as to live the rest of the time in the flesh, no longer for the lust of men, but for the will of God. For the time has already passed, is sufficient for you to have carried out the desires of the Gentile, having pursued a course of sensuality, lust, drunkenness, carousing, drinking parties, and abominable idolatries. What he's basically saying is, there was a time in your life where you did all of these things that he's named. The sensual things, the lustful things, the drunkenness, the carousing, the drinking parties, and the abominable idolatries. He said there was a time in your life when you participated in these things, but that time is gone now. And since that time is gone now, you should break yourselves away from the people that still do that kind of stuff. Or you should, if you cannot get those people who you hang around not to do it around you, then you need to break yourself away. Sometimes you can find people who respect you for your change, and sometimes you find people that when you change, they have no regard for you whatsoever. But he says the time has already passed when you spent much of your life doing these kind of things. And now you have changed. Now you don't do those things anymore. And what's going to happen? Listen what Peter says is going to happen. 1 Peter 4 and verse 4 says this. In all of this, they are surprised that you do not run with them in the same excess of dissipation, and they malign you. You see that? They malign you. Peter said, when you stop living like you used to live, people are going to be surprised. What's going to follow them being surprised is they're going to begin to malign. You know what that means? They're going to begin to dog you out and talk about you and call you everything under the sun. Why? To get you to shut up, to shame you, to make you feel bad about the life that you now live. But what you have to do is ignore it. You've got to realize that the life you now live, you're living for God, not for them. Those people who malign you to try to get you to shut up and not say anything about your faith, they have somebody that's going to judge them. The next verse, in verse number 5, Peter says, but they will give an account to him who is ready to judge the quick of the living and the dead. Let me tell you something. Don't you ever be ashamed to stand up for what's right. Don't you ever be ashamed to speak the truth. As long as you do it in a kind, in a gentle way, in a way that's Christ-like, don't you ever shut your mouth because you're afraid of what somebody may say about you. They talked about Jesus. They talked about the apostles. They talked about the innocent. They talked about the guilty. And they're going to talk about you, and it's not going to stop. I don't care what you do. You've got to realize who you're living for. Are you living for God, or are you living for them? If you're living for them, then stay quiet. If you're living for God, you need to start speaking up. Forget what they say about you. Because in the end, it's the Lord that'll take care of them. Peace to the east.